What's up, everybody? Back at it again with another group review. This time it's going to be for a mainstream horror that I'm pretty sure everybody's heard about. This one is The Curse of La Llorona.
La Llorona.
La Llorona. So I did a trailer reaction for this, and in that video I basically said that I didn't have high hopes for it, but I thought that, you know, there was a chance that it could be good, but I definitely did not have high hopes for it. And guess what? Coming out of it, it's actually much worse than I thought.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was scared.
I was on the edge of my seat the entire fucking movie. No, I wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Oh my god. This movie was a complete fucking disaster. I hated this movie. I hated it. This is by far, for me, the worst film that I've seen all year.
Oh, yeah.
Same here.
Yep, same here.
And I saw Serenity, dude. And this is even worse than Serenity.
Oh.
Yeah, this movie was pretty fucking, I don't even know, like, just a disgrace.
Yes, to both filmmaking and to horror. And, you know, I'm not the kind of person that comes out and just shits on movies just to shit on them. Like, if there's something there that's worth appreciating or respecting, I'll say it. And I'll be like, well, I didn't like the movie, but at least it had, like, this part that I liked. But there's nothing in this movie that I can actually say, oh, I was impressed by that. Nothing. There's nothing.
Yeah, this is a movie that just made me feel nothing. It literally just didn't give me any sort of feeling, like, at all. I mean, besides, like, frustration and anger, sure, but...
Yes.
But anything that the movie wanted me to feel, no.
The entire runtime of this movie, for me, honestly, was almost complete agony. Like, this movie was a drag from start to finish. It just dragged on. There was no relief for me in this entire film. I thought, like, okay, this movie, it'll hit a segment that I'm really into. Never happened.
No.
Never got anything like that. It's literally just... Okay, so The Conjuring, like the first two, they already had pretty cliche basic premises, and what made those films great was the directing and the way that it was just all done. That's what made the film so great. So imagine a movie like The Conjuring that has a cliche premise on its own, but there's nothing, absolutely nothing about the direction or the way this film was put together that gives it any kind of style, any kind of immersion that made The Conjuring great. It's all that's missing. So now you just have a cliche movie with no charm whatsoever. It's just like this bland piece of marketing crap that they just literally manufactured to make money. It's literally just the biggest effortless cash grab that I've ever seen.
Yeah, on that note, there is nothing about this movie that's, like, you know, special within La Llorona. The only thing for the La Llorona lore is just that they just tell you, like, the backstory and the basic folklore of La Llorona.
And they run through that so quick in the beginning.
But in terms of, like, incorporating that unique story into this film and doing its own twist and spin on it, there's nothing. It's just a completely regular by the number horror movie.
Yep.
It just happens to be called The Curse of La Llorona.
Yep.
Absolutely agree.
Literally, pretty much everything that you see in this movie is resembled in some sort of basic, conventional, paranormal horror movie. Especially in The Conjuring. Like, this film, you know, starts and ends the same way your basic Conjuring movie would, except it's just completely watered down and without any kind of charisma. That's this movie. And, you know, for people who want to go just to go for the folklore, I don't even think you'll even enjoy that either.
Not at all.
It's
because,
so watered down. Because,
like you said, it's just they run over it so quickly, and they don't spend a lot of time actually going into it. Like, it's just like, they spend a lot of time with this family, and you don't give a shit about them because
not at all.
The writing is horrible. They don't even care to establish any kind of substance or depth to any of the characters. They try to have the fucking son of the mother be this, like, son who's grieving over, like, his dad's death, because I think his dad was a cop and died or something like that. And the one scene they had in the beginning to try to, like, flesh that out was so forced and so just like it shows, whatever, it's not even really a spoiler. It shows, like, the kid, like, in a cop uniform going, bam, you're dead, bam. And it's just like, this is the most, like, serviceable, just most forced attempt at trying to establish some sort of character depth, and then after that is done. They don't even they try to reach for it again later in the third act, but they don't add any depth to it. That it just comes off super flat and forced. And that's the main. It's not the main issue. This movie has a lot of main issues.
Oh, it has plenty.
Almost all equally great because they're all just shit. But this film lacked any kind of character depth or any kind of character to care about or attach yourself to. Nothing.
Like any kind of subtlety.
Yeah, that too.
Oh my god, this movie was not subtle in the slightest.
No.
Not at all.
Literally, this movie does nothing except spoon feed you shit for an hour and a half.
Oh,
That's
yes.
it. And every single moment in this movie has somebody explaining what just happened. Every single moment. Even the moments of tension. They're like, oh, what's happening now? Oh, she's trying to kill us. Oh, where are they at? Oh, she's down by the river drowning them. Like, every single thing is explained to you. Nothing is left to just for your mind to grasp. It's all spoon-fed to you. Nothing is actually trying to go for any kind of subtlety. It's just completely expositional bullshit. And the script is just completely effortless. Either they didn't try or the screenwriters just suck. I don't know, but I'm sorry. This movie I hated this movie.
Yeah, I think we all did.
I hated it. And like I said, I'm not that kind of person. Like, I try to find stuff that's worth appreciating, but this didn't offer me anything at all.
No, it had truly nothing to offer, honestly.
I mean, Tuco from Breaking Bad is in this movie. That was fun because he had one line that was absolutely hilarious that had me dying.
Yeah.
But
it had the whole fucking theater dying.
Yeah. That was kind of entertaining, but other than that, this movie was a bore. Like, I was honestly, like, I was really trying my best to either not fall asleep or walk out of the theater.
Same here.
Yeah.
Like, both of those things would have been better worth my time than actually watching this movie.
Yeah.
So, there's that. I really hated it. And there's so many things about this movie that sucks. Anybody want to just touch on one of them, have in one of your mind? There's so much shit.
Like I said, this film was literally just an excuse for us to get together, eat popcorn and Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
Like you said, this film just offered nothing. It literally, the scares, if you can call them scares, because there was no tension in this film, no sense of dread or horror whatsoever.
And everything has a jump scare after
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Predictable ass jump scare after every single moment of
predictable you
tension.
can think of.
Predictable setup followed by predictable jump scare. There was literally there was plenty of parts in the movie where I feel like if I didn't laugh, I would literally go fucking insane.
Yeah.
From how awful this movie was.
And some of the stuff that I definitely laughed at in this movie, which is not a lot because it's not funny.
Not
It's
at all.
This movie just makes you want to hate yourself for even spending money on it. But the thing is like, there was times in this movie that I laughed, but I guarantee you, almost 100%, those parts were not meant to be funny.
No,
not at all.
Those parts were meant to be taken seriously, and it was just poor execution and just cheesy dialogue, cheesy direction. God, this movie sucks.
Cheesy scares.
Everything about this movie sucks. I can't even think of one thing about this movie that I enjoyed. Every attempt at trying to be scary was just a complete flop.
It had a terrible payoff. Just awful payoff.
This was literally just a paycheck for anyone involved in this movie.
And I guarantee you it's going to make money because the budget for this movie doesn't look like it's a lot. Because this movie doesn't do much. It doesn't really do much at all. And why is it rated R? Why?
Yeah, there's no reason. It could have been PG-13, honestly.
There's no reason for this movie to be rated R. There's literally, if you guys are trying to make money off of this movie, you guys suck. Because same with Pet Sematary, y'all suck. Because if y'all really wanted to make money off this movie, y'all could have easily made it PG-13 and made like an extra $1 million or some shit.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing in this movie that makes it have an R rating. Nothing. Nothing at all.
No, usually our horror movies, they usually do something that's a little like, just even slightly disturbing. That just, you're like, oh shit, what the hell?
Yep.
But this movie literally had none of that.
Nothing. It's, the Conjuring was, when that movie first came out, it was like a big thing. It was like, oh my god, it's R-rated just because it's scary. And we were like, oh shit, so we go see it, and I'm like, okay, I can see why, because there's some terrifying shit in that movie.
And it's intense.
Yeah, it gets really intense, and I can see why they wouldn't want, kids that are 13 years old to go watch it, because it's just really disturbing and intense. But there's nothing like that in this movie.
Yeah, this one was hilariously
It's watered down PG-13 horror that's for some reason being marketed as an adult R-rated horror. And I don't know, like this movie's probably gonna make its money back, but it definitely could have made a lot more if they would have just went with the PG-13 rating.
That would have been the smart thing to do for sure.
I love how every time we do a group review, like whenever we do a horror film, just notice the trend of like, we did Us, that was okay. We did Pet Cemetery, that wasn't great. And then we just do this dog shit.
Yeah,
like,
oh my
it's
God.
just getting worse and worse.
Worse and worse, yeah.
Like, I miss the days when we were just watching Us, because that was okay. You can't even...
Yeah.
You can't even call this film okay. You can't even call it a monstrosity. This film is complete dog shit. Complete cinematic fecal matter.
This makes Us look like fucking Citizen Kane.
Oh,
dude.
yes.
Yeah. I wasn't, I wasn't big on Pet Cemetery. I had a lot of bad things to say about that, but this movie just makes me wish I was just watching Pet Cemetery.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually, found myself enjoying my movie experience with that movie, even though it was bland and I had a lot of issues with it, and I didn't even give it a fresh rating. I still walked out of the theater like, okay, I enjoyed my experience more or less. I didn't hate myself for wasting my time. This one, from the halfway point, not even the half, like 20 minutes in, I was like, I'm gonna really hate this movie, aren't I? And yeah, you just hate it even more as the more goes along. So
it just does nothing. Like,
Yeah.
like by the climax, I was like, okay, she's gonna fucking get some Mexican fucking spiritual bullshit on her, and she's gonna go away. Just get it over with.
If you can call that a fucking climax.
Yeah.
Just calling that a climax is like trying to call this a film. You can't do it with a fucking straight face. I mean, Carlos was legitimately apologizing to us.
This was my idea. They didn't really, they didn't object to going in to see it, but it was my idea to come and watch this movie and do a review for it, and now I just feel like shit.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been more laughably bad, maybe, but it just was boring. There
was like 2 laughs in it for me.
The most absolutely boring fucking horror movie possible, maybe.
2 laughs, and I don't even know if they were supposed to be on purpose.
Oh, not at all.
No, they were unintentional.
And one was so funny that I was like literally tearing up. So
I guess we can get into that.
Oh, in the spoiler section.
All right, so we've talked enough about it, I guess, before we get into the spoilers. So I'll go ahead and go first and give my rating. I hated the fuck out of this movie, obviously. I think it's bottom of the barrel horror dog shit. I would not recommend anybody to see this movie. If you want to see a good horror movie, go watch shit like The Witch, go watch Hereditary, go watch watch Don't Breathe. That's even a lot better than this movie.
Oh yeah.
Watch the first Conjuring.
Watch It
Yeah.
Follows. Watch It Follows.
Yeah, It Follows too. Like, just go watch those. Don't waste your time with this film. It's complete dog shit in my opinion. I'm going to give The Curse of La Llorona a 0.5 out of 10.
Oh,
the only reason why he gets a 0.5 is because Tuco from Breaking Bad is in it, and he said a funny-ass joke, and that's it. Nothing else about this movie was good or even worth talking about, but there I am talking about it. But anyways, yeah, that's my rating. 0.5 out of 10. What about you, Eric? Eric's next, right? Yeah.
Yeah, when I was watching this movie, there was just so many times where I was like, man, if I had my hands on this fucking, like, property, like, not the Conjuring universe, but La Llorona in general, I would try my best to make it very atmospheric and very creepy. As a little tangent, sorry for getting into this, there's like
You're good.
there's a YouTube video that maybe you guys have seen that's legitimately really fucking creepy, where it's this, people are driving in the highway, and then all of a sudden you see, a woman with, like, a white, like dress or gown or something, and her hair is like in front of her face, and she starts like screaming like incoherently, and just the way it's filmed, it's really fucking creepy. You should look it up. Like, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube as like something witch, like on the side of the road, something like that. But yeah, like, the point is, like, you could have made this scary, but there was just no inspiration. Everybody just fucking, it was just awful material.
There's no vision at all.
No vision.
Not at all.
Yeah. But anyways, I'll get to my rating. I would give this a 3 out of 10, but that's only because my rating system's like different, but it's terrible. Lo and behold, it's a garbage movie.
Well said.
I honestly didn't think I would find a film this year that was worse than Serenity. Well, congratulations with flying fucking colors. This movie did it. It did it. La Llorona did it, and that's not something not something this film should be proud of. I honestly agree with Carlos. I'm also giving this film a 0.5 out of 10, only because of Tuco, and only because of that one joke in the
That's
movie.
funny, we had the same shit in mind.
Yeah, as soon as you said that.
Because he said that right at the end of the movie, and I was like, I agree. That's exactly what I had in my mind. But yeah,
I don't like this movie significantly more than these two or anything. I think we just have a different rating
Yeah,
system.
obviously.
yeah, that's all. Yeah,
But it's like a low 3 or maybe just like a strong 2. That's not saying much. A 2 or a 3 for me.
well, we all hated it. That's the point.
Yeah.
We all agree that it's garbage.
I absolutely despise this film.
All right, so let's talk about some spoilers right quick.
Spoiler territory.
Did you want to talk about anything in particular, Perry? Because you did bring it up, something up earlier.
Okay. So they get to the so-called climatic scene, or they're building to the climatic scene, and Tuco, who's like, he's not a priest, he left the church, and he's there to like stop La Llorona from taking Linda Cardellini's kids. He puts down like these
Beans.
these beans from a tree, and it keeps La Llorona out of the house. What does this girl do of Linda Cardellini's
stupid.
daughter?
That's
What does she
so
fucking do?
stupid.
Go reach for a toy.
She reaches for a fucking toy that's outside of the house, moves the beans, and La Llorona comes in and fucking starts, doing her bullshit.
There's so much shit that makes this movie come along that's solely based on dumbass actions from characters that make no fucking sense.
Yeah. Clearly, nothing but plot convenience.
Yeah, it's just for plot's sake. It's just so the movie can continue going as if we're enjoying it.
Okay, I got something. You know something about this film that I absolutely hated and couldn't stand? That's something that Pet Sematary did? This whole faith-based fucking theme and this whole God theme where the main character again is like a non-believer, and then it's like she has to come to God kind of like by the end of it and trust God and have faith, and that's kind of what gets La Llorona, away. I'm so sick of that.
Yeah.
This movie took that route again. Like, we just watched a mainstream horror movie, Pet Sematary, mischaracterize skeptics in this fucking, like, really disingenuous way, and this movie does it again, and also pushes...
It did it worse.
Did it even worse.
It did it even worse.
And it pushes this faith-based theme in it, too, where, like, and then on top of that, the Catholic Church is basically the saviors of this movie.
Yeah.
And it's, you could argue that they're not because they have like an outsider from the Catholic Church come and save the day. But the point is, like, Catholicism saves the day.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking during the movie. It's like, oh, thanks to Catholicism, the La Llorona is defeated. Yay.
And it's not subtle about it either. Like, it'd be one thing if this film had a subtle message about that, but it's not. There's parts where it's like, you don't have to be religious to have faith. And then it's again, Tuco's character's all like, oh yeah, I would never give up on God. The church, yes, but God, never.
That's where all the Catholics just stand up and applaud.
Yeah, I was just like,
They're
this
in an
is
Avengers movie.
pandery bullshit. And I get it. I'm not the audience for this movie, I guess. But they're obviously going for just a super casual audience. So that makes me think that they really just didn't even care about trying. Because they knew, hey, if we just market it to these fucks, we'll make our money back. We don't have to try to make a good movie. Let's just pander, all the way home and we'll make our money back. And this movie just felt like a big pandering piece, and that was another reason why
It didn't even do a good
stand
job
that.
of pandering, though.
Yeah, exactly, because you missed the whole Mexican folklore aspect of it too.
I just don't think there was like, this is a weird comparison, but like, if you watch like Coco, like there's a lot of like little subtle nuances about like Mexican tradition that you can enjoy.
They did that barely.
Obviously, it's
in
a
this
kids movie.
Yeah.
But in La Llorona, this movie, there's no like little subtle nuances you can latch yourself onto and be like, oh, this is like a little culture thing. Like
they try to do it, but it's so like ham-fisted. Like, oh, here's this whole thing with the eggs. Like,
just
oh,
not subtle.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
It's like, first of all, this scene is not working. It's stupid and cheesy. I hate it. And then, secondly, it's like, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to force feed this Mexican folklore because you haven't done it the whole movie, so you have to squeeze it in somewhere. And they do it, and it just fails because it just doesn't work because it just seems so forced. And on top of the fact that it's forced, it just doesn't work. It's cheesy and it's stupid. I hate it.
Incredibly cheesy.
What he means by the eggs is they literally rub fucking eggs all over the house.
They even acknowledged it. They're like, so you guys gonna keep rubbing
eggs everywhere?
And I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, I get what they're trying to do. Like, that is something that I'm pretty sure is like apparent in Mexican culture or whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure that's something apparent, or else they wouldn't put it in there. But it's just so ham-fisted and so like choppy and so forced. I just couldn't stand it, and it just didn't work. Like I said, it just didn't work at all. So. Yeah.
We gotta talk about the awful world building, because of course they try to connect this to the fucking Conjuring movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
And literally, Linda Cardellini, she's talking to Father Perez or whatever his name was.
A priest.
Yeah,
that's all you
priest.
need to know.
A random priest.
He was like, there was this one time with this doll, they literally show like the priest from what is it? Annabelle Creation, not Creation.
I don't know. I didn't watch the first Annabelle, so I don't know.
The first Annabelle movie.
Yeah. That's fucking terrible.
And it shows the fucking Annabelle doll, and it's like, we get it.
It literally flashes the Annabelle doll for a second, and then the movie just goes back to what it was doing.
Because it just flashes to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't show like a scene where she terrorizes them in any way.
Yeah.
It's just like cut to Annabelle, cut back to the movie.
It was the quickest like flash of like the most desperate attempt of just trying to connect us to the universe somehow, and that's it. Like the most lazy attempt, like, whoa, Annabelle. Okay, back to the movie.
We started laughing at it. I literally like looked over to Carlos and looked over to Eric and said, "This movie is fucking hilarious."
Yes. it's laughably horrible at times. It's really bad.
And people in this movie get like flung up in the air, and it always looks comedic.
Oh my god!
There's a lot of scenes where like characters, they get like, they get pulled back onto the air and just flung around the room, and it looks fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and it's not the concept of being flung that's funny, because we've seen it in other horror movies, and it's fine. Yeah, The Conjuring did it, and it was fine. But this movie does it. It looks like something out of like some person who's not experienced in this shit at all, and just
it looks
like put
out
it
of
together.
a comedy.
Yeah, like I just don't get it. Like who produced this movie? Apparently the people that produced
James Wan.
Well, fuck James Wan, man. I'm sorry. What's going on with you?
The big bucks.
You made like one. I'm not a big fan of Conjuring 2. I think it's okay. I thought it was a little
I personally
overappreciated.
like it. It's not.
He likes it.
It's not amazing, but I think it's a pretty solid horror movie.
The first Conjuring I really liked.
Oh, me too.
But ever since then, like, you stopped and you made Fast and Furious 6 or some shit, and then now
Aquaman.
You directed Aquaman, and now you're just producing a whole bunch of shit movies. It's like you just don't even care anymore, man. You just want to get a paycheck, and it's so obvious.
Yeah.
And it just sucks, man. I wish, because you're actually pretty good at directing horror, and I would rather you use your talent for that, and instead you're not. You're
or
just,
at least good movies.
Or at least good movies, yeah. But you're making shit. I mean, whatever, they're fun movies, whatever. Fast and Furious 6, whatever. People are going to say it's fun. Aquaman, they say it's fun. Whatever, I get it's fun. But I just think it's wasted potential from James Wan.
No, yeah,
anybody can make those movies. Anybody.
Yeah.
And it's like James Wan is the embodiment of what's wrong with Hollywood now, and the people that are shitting out these films is they just do it for the money. They don't care because they know people are fucking stupid, and they can make all the La Lloronas of the fucking world, and people will pay to see the bullshit.
This was incredibly low effort.
Oh my god.
Low effort on all fronts.
This is literally low risk, high reward movie, right?
Yeah.
So
it just did not care.
But alright, I guess those are all the spoilers we have to say. There's probably more shit about this movie that sucks, and guarantee you there's a lot about this movie that sucks that we haven't talked about.
Yeah,
but there's so much shit in this shit that we can't pick it all apart.
The dialogue's bad, the characters are wooden, the acting is not good, the script sucks, the
directing's horrible.
Yeah.
No vision, everything about this is completely cookie cutter and manufactured. No attempt at any honest horror or creativity. The movie blows. There's not even any attempt to really do any fan service to people who really like the folklore behind it either.
Oh, of course, to La Llorona, no.
Yeah.
The opening shot was so fucking cheesy too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
That set the tone for really easy.
And like the first okay, so it started off like with a slow motion shot or whatever in like Mexico, and I was like, whatever, okay, this is not terrible. It's trying to build atmosphere. But then the way everything that happened after that, and then the way it cut to the opening title, I was like, what is this?
That was cheesy as fuck.
This is awful. That definitely set the tone for the rest of the shit we were gonna watch.
I definitely have to bring this up. Like, I didn't want to get too deep into spoilers, but no joke, there's literally a fucking scene where, like, after La Llorona attacks the kid, Linda Cardellini works for Child Services or whatever, and then Child Services comes to investigate Linda Cardellini as if she fucking abused her own kid.
I hated that
It
too.
is so fucking stupid.
Speaking of some dumb shit like that, one thing I absolutely hated about her character was that when they get to that scene with the eggs, and then he cracks it open, there's like a bunch of black liquid coming out of it.
Yeah.
She's skeptical for some fucking reason. Why is she skeptical? She's like, no, I seen that already on TV. I'm like,
I saw
you
that on
literally
Jimmy
saw La
Carson.
Llorona face to face like 3 times already, and you're somehow skeptical that there's evil in your house? What is wrong with you?
What the fuck?
Again, this movie was trying to paint like like people that are like are skeptical are just dumb. They're retarded, and it's like I hated that. And that was another thing about the movie I just hated, man.
And she thought that she was a person for so long until Tuco explained to her she wasn't a person. She swung a fucking bat at La Llorona and she like disappeared.
Yeah.
It's like, and Linda Cardellini would still think she's a person? I think not. Bullshit.
No, 100% bullshit, dude.
Another really stupid ass thing that I want to bring up about the movie is that La Llorona, she's incredibly useless in the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
What I mean, like, is like, obviously she kills the other woman's 2 kids, but she has so many chances to do harm to the kids and the mom, but they don't. She just appears and just big jump scare and then she leaves, or she just grabs your arm. She shows up, grabs your arm, and then bails.
That's it.
There's never like an attempt to like actually kill somebody, which is like the threat of the movie.
And there's also no like trying to spice it up with how people like picture this folklore, because like what happens is like people that know about the story, they have different like conceptions of it. Like my dad was telling me that, like, because he's actually from Mexico City, so he was born in the heart of where this kind of spawned, and he told me that depending on where you're from in the country, they'll have a different like vision of the story and how like the creature looks or whatever. And this movie didn't play around with that. It was just like, okay, beautiful Mexican lady, that's it. Like
with some scary dark makeup.
Yeah, because you know some people would say, oh, she has a face of a horse. Like she would turn around and then her face looks like a horse or whatever.
That is crazy.
And they didn't even utilize that at all. Like that's actually a pretty prominent thing that a lot of people who do like believe in this stuff, like they do envision it that way. So it sucks that they didn't try to incorporate different kinds of way people view this, because people do have different ways, you know, of at least how they learn the story. There's a lot of differences, and so we just went with one really conventional paranormal ghost looking thing, and that's it.
Yeah, the actual La Llorona in this movie just looked like a woman who spends way too much time in Hot Topic. That is the best way I can describe it.
That's a good point.
Honestly, the nun was like scarier, like as a character design or whatever.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll bring up for myself, I think like La Llorona is obviously based off of actual like folklore people told, and I heard it as a kid and I remember it being genuinely creepy.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I did hear the folklore when I was little, and I had like envisions in my head of like, oh wow, that's actually kind of like, you know, scary, because I used to be like huge into the paranormal.
Yeah.
But this movie just absolutely dropped the ball. 100%.
Yeah, because we were technically raised on it.
Yeah.
Like we, you know, our parents and shit, like they told us about the story
Me
and
and
stuff
Carlos
growing up.
anyways.
Yeah, me and Carlos said about Perry, but they definitely told it to us, and you know, we grew up with this, so we should have some sort of a bias to want to like this movie, and yet we absolutely hated it. So that's how bad this movie squandered the
Potential, yeah.
the potential. So. But yeah, this movie sucks, man. This movie sucks.
Don't watch it.
Don't
give
watch
your
it.
money.
Don't waste your money. Stay at home, watch something else, because this movie blows. Unless you're like a super casual and you literally just want to go watch a movie and you never see movies that know shit about them, whatever, go see it. But if that's the point, if that's the way you're going about things, I don't even know why you're watching this review. So, but yeah, that's all we got to say about The Curse of La Llorona. This was a really sad attempt, and the Conjuring universe is just getting shittier and shittier. I didn't watch The Nun, but I heard it was terrible. This seems like it's like if The Nun is worse than this, I would be surprised, because this is really bad.
I don't know if the first Annabelle or this is worse. I couldn't tell you honestly, because I hated the first Annabelle. I thought it was one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen.
Damn, I didn't watch that one. I watched Annabelle Creation.
It
which
is
I thought was
fucking
good,
trash.
actually.
Yeah, I liked Annabelle Creation.
The first Annabelle was trash.
It's terrible. Oh my god. I did watch it out of curiosity, and it was fucking terrible.
It's awful. But anyway, I guess that's it. If you really liked what we had to say about it, please give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.
Hell yeah.
Bye-bye.